Drug companies have a history of illegal activity. This is just a sample of the billions of dollars in fines they incur for things like fraud and bribery in any given year. In the 80s, when President Reagan came into office and slashed funding to the National Institutes of Health, it left a gaping hole for private industry to move in. Nowadays, around 85% of trials are funded by drug companies. A review concluded that if a drug company paid for a trial, it was 24% more likely to report the drug was effective, and 87% less likely to report the drug's side effects.
There's a sense that science is science, so it doesn't matter who pays for it. And yet, because the research is privatized, the fundamental purpose for which it's conducted has changed. It's not to improve the public's health, it's to fulfill the fiduciary obligations of the sponsors and create an opportunity to maximize profits instead of improve the public's health. Business is in business. Their job is to make money. We ought to be clear in our public discourse that to say we've got a bias in commercially sponsored research is neither cynical nor paranoid nor impolite. It's a fact. So let's just accept it as a fact and stop being naive at our own expense.
But if Big Pharma doesn't pay, it will have to be the taxpayer.
A drug now costs about $2 billion to develop. The success rate of drugs is very low. You know, is the public purse going to be willing to shell out in advance for $2 billion for a drug which it doesn't know the likely outcome of?
Arguably, the biggest ethical issue in science is that drug companies withhold unflattering results. So in the end, what we're presented with is a distortion of the data. 2 of the 3 major drug companies declined to comment. AstraZeneca denied these allegations, stating that all their trials are publicly available. But in 2010, the drug maker reportedly paid $500 million to settle a class action after being accused of burying information about the increased risk of diabetes seen with their widely prescribed antipsychotic drug, Seroquel.
I spend a lot of time as an expert in pharmaceutical litigation. And one thing you learn is that you can't possibly know what's going on with that drug unless you have access to the corporate hard drives. If you want to know the truth about a drug, you need to have subpoena power or, in litigation, discovery that gets you into those corporate hard drives. Because without getting into the corporate hard drives, it's impossible to know what the real benefits and the real risks of those drugs are.